Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondor Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. This one is a very cool 2 versus 3 siege of Minas Tirith. So we are back to the Tower of Guard, and it is very cool. We have myself playing as Gondor and Sin of the Dark Cloud playing as Umbar defending, so it's kind of like as if the kin strife between Gondor and Umbar or Civil War never really happened. So it's kind of cool to see both Gondor and Umbar together, and it's going to be a very difficult defense, I think, to break down because both Gondor and Umbar have very, very solid heavy infantry and not bad archers either. But the attackers are also going to have some very good units of their own, so we can go first way over here to look at the army comp of Son of the Dunedain, who is playing as Harad. He's got 4 units of the lowest infantry unit that Harad can bring, that being the Haradrim Spearmen. He's got 1 unit of the Serpent Guard to ward off any enemy cavalry. He's got 2 units of the Haradrim Archers just to provide some little bit of archer support. He's also got 2 units of the Muhad Beast Hunters, who are very good javelins, and I think they pull out a mace and shield infantry, or in melee, so they actually are AP. He's also got 4 units of the Muhad Berserkers, who are a shock infantry that is AP, but they are very lightly armored. He's got 2 units of the AP Troll Men of Harad, who have hit points, you know, just a really good unit all around. He's also got 2 units of the Dismounted Serpent Guard, who are a little bit more defensively minded than, you know, like the Muhad Warriors or Berserkers, but they also are very good. They have 203 men in the unit, and they are not bad at all, and you can actually bring 4 of them before the price increase. Over here, he's got his remaining 2 units, that being 1 unit of the Hashari standard, like, dual-wielding infantry, and he also has his generals unit, that being the Champions of Nafrat, who are, of course, basically a upgraded version of the Muhad Berserkers, and these guys are super, super good, super deadly, but again, they are relatively lightly armored, but they do have a couple hit points to protect them, at least somewhat, from missile fire. Over here, we can see the next attacking army, that being Derek, who is commanding the Witch Realm of Angmar. He's got 1 unit of Goblin Trackers, 2 units of Snaga Archers. I think he has 2 units of Snaga Stalkers as well, one's up in the front. He also has 1 unit of the very defensively minded Trolls of Angmar. And these guys are good because while they can't do quite as much damage as other Trolls, they stay in the fight for much, much longer, which can turn out quite well for you if you use them right. He also has 1 unit of the Witch Realm Blackguard, who are basically a Wardens of the White Tower, but for Angmar. That is where his generals, you can see him standing right there. He's also got 1 unit of the Witch Realm Hammer Guard, who are a very, very deadly anti-cav unit. And all these units are here, all 3 of these are actually fear-inspiring. Also, the Witch Realm Hammer Guard are actually AP, and they also have a bonus against cavalry. He also has 2 units of the Angmar Halberds, 2 units of the Gundabad Guard, who have been given a new model that looks very, very nice. You can quite clearly tell that they do come from the north because of their very heavy fur cloaks. He's got 3 units of the Angmar Marauders, 1 catapult, and I believe that pretty much does it for his army comp. So we can now go here to the final attacking army, and it looks as if the Men of Dol Amroth have decided that they do not want to be ruled any longer by the Men of Gondor. They're going to team up with Angmar and Harad to try to take out the Men of Gondor. Now he has got 5 units of the Edhelm Men at Arms, 4 units of the Dor and Urnel Swordsmen, 2 units of the Dor and Urnel Archers, and 1 unit of the Nimidal Rangers. Oh, I should mention that this army is being commanded by Declan Gardner. He also back here has all of his elites. He's got, well, there's his 4th unit of Dor and Urnel Swordsmen, but he's got 2 units of the Black Swan Vanguard, who are a very good mace and shield AP unit. They will do very well against pretty much anything that we have to offer because most of our stuff is heavily armored, so the AP will do quite well. He also has 2 units of the Talon Knights, and while these guys by themselves are not quite as good as something like the Blackguard or Wardens of the White Tower, excuse me, you can actually bring 2 of them before the price increase, and they are 200 florins cheaper. For his general, he also has 1 unit of the Haven Guard, who don't really need much of an introduction. They're just a very, very good shock infantry. Not AP because of their swords, but still, they have much higher skill to compensate for that fact. But again, over here, Sin of the Dark Cloud actually did bring a couple units of cavalry, but I think over here would probably be where they'd be best used because Declan Gardner doesn't have javelins or pikes or spears of any kind, or cavalry, so we'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, over here, I'm not going to go really... Well, I know basically what the armies of the defenders are, but I'm not going to have to actually look at them because they're all spread out. But anyway, Sin of the Dark Cloud is playing as Umbar. He's got 2 units of the Crossbow Corsairs, 1 of which is over here. Very lightly armored crossbows, but they can do a ton of damage. You have to be very careful with them. They're definitely a glass can type unit. He's got 1 unit of the Aberzem Nardu Bawi up here on the walls, and these guys don't do a ton of damage, but they can definitely outlast most other archers. He's also got 4 units of the Castamir's Legion here, who are very, very good sword shield infantrymen, but they are relatively expensive. He's also got 1 unit of the Numenorian Shield Guard with their very cool looking unit model. He's got 1 unit of the Corsair Pikemen, 1 unit of Belagir Halberds, 1 unit of the Castamir's Rangers right here. He's also got 1 unit of the Naru and Aru Sentinels, which is definitely one of the better pikes in the game. kind of similar to the Arnorian Gate Guards, honestly. You can see his other, crossbow corsairs here. He also has one unit somewhere, I think actually up here, of the Corsair Blackguards, who are a very, very deadly javelin unit, and they are not bad in melee either. They're somewhere hidden down here. But anyway, here they are. And in addition to that, he has 2 units of cavalry, one being the Númenórean Lances right over here, who also have a very nice unit model, basically just the Númenórean Shield Guard on horses. Over here for his general, he's got 1 unit of the Warlords of Umbar, so it looks currently like he's going to go after Angmar, so we'll have to see how that goes out for him, or turns out for him. But for my army, I've got 5 units of the Gondor infantry with 1 armor upgrade, but no attack upgrade. Not a bad sword and shield infantry unit, but against units like the Edhelm Men at Arms, they're actually very similar. I actually think that the Gondor infantry has slightly better armor and shield, but maybe a little bit less attack. But anyway, I also have 2 units of the Citadel Guard, who are an AP spear unit, but they are very expensive, like 975 florins, or maybe 950 each. I also have, let me see here, 2 units of the Standard Gondor Archers with 1 armor upgrade, 1 unit of Athelian Rangers, 1 unit of Pelagrim Marines, and 2 units of the Ramus Accord Garrison Archers. And I find that these Ramus Accord Garrison Archers are very, very worth it to bring, because while they only have 160 range, they are very cheap. I think they're only like 475 florins each. They're not going to do a ton of damage, but because of the shield on their backs, you can actually have them last for a very, very long time. And even if you're not going to get a lot of kills, you can at least make the enemy archers focus on these guys rather than on your more important archers like the Athelian Rangers or even Gondor archers. I did not decide to bring... Oh, sorry, that's a car, but I did not decide to bring the Caer Andros Marksmen just because they're a little bit too expensive. But over here you can see my 2nd unit of Ramus Accord Garrison Archers. For my general, I have a unit of the Veterans of Osgiliath somewhere around here. They have both armor upgrades right here, just so you can see the unit. And Boromir is also going to be on the field today because he is the officer for that unit. You can see him right there. But anyway, I also have 2 units of the Fountain Guard who no longer have Spear Wall, so they're not quite as good as they were before, but they're still definitely very, very good. They're an AP Halberd unit now, so they don't have the range of pikes, but they are still very, very good and can do a lot of damage. And right here you can see one of my most favorite units in the game currently, especially on the Gondor roster. You can see the Wardens of the White Tower, who before they had like blue and tan, and they were okay looking before, but right now, with the new model, I think they look spectacular. I really like the black and the silver better than the blue and tan, honestly. But yeah, these guys are very, very good. Very similar to the Witch Realm Blackguard. And against mid to low tier units, they will do very good. And against elites, they're not going to do as well because they're more defensively minded, especially against something like the Hammer Guard they will probably lose to, but still, they're not a bad unit at all. And for my final unit, I have 1 unit of the Catapult, but that will pretty much do it for the army comp, so we can now go ahead and go into the replay itself. 50,000 frames is very, very long for a 2v3, especially because we're not even going to be defending the other levels. I very much dislike this map when people will pretty much only defend the just the choke point, the whole other levels. So we did decide to pretty much just defend the first level. But anyway, right here you can see the Númenórean Lancers wanting to go after the Catapult crew, but the Scourge Raiders are going to be able to stop them. And unfortunately, Sin did not notice that the Scourge Raiders were here, so he wasn't able to get quite as good of a charge off as he might have been able to do so. But you can see the Warlords of Umbar swinging around as well. Anyway, a little note on the frames, and that's because the attackers took a very, very slow approach to things, but don't worry, I will cut out the parts where it does get slow because the skirmish phase is insanely long. Warlords getting a nice charge off on those Witch Realm Scourge Raiders, but are going to have to retreat because of the halberds there. Oh, and right here, you can see the Númenórean Lances shaking because they're going into halberds and into Hammer Guard and into Trolls of Angmar, so that is going to be enough to break that unit entirely. They're going after the archers, but because of all the bonus against cavalry here and the fear-inspiring from all the units here, is going to be enough to rout that unit. And in fact, they're going to route the wrong way straight into the rest of the Angmar forces, and that is going to be enough to see that entire unit off the field, which is very unfortunate because that is a very expensive unit. I think around 1,000 florins, so that was a very costly thing right there. Over here you can see the Warlord's going to actually retreat because of the... Oh, I was going to say the Sermon Guard might be coming over here, but no. Because they were getting shot by fire arrows, which are still good, but they have been nerfed to be a little bit better. I think what they did was just change the actual time to like actually pull out fire arrows. Like I think it takes like 5 seconds or something, like a very long time to actually use fire arrows. So that's how they balance things out. Yeah, all across you can see things really haven't been going very swiftly. Pretty much the only thing that's been happening is Sin has been using his cavalry here. But he does need to be very careful because this is his general's unit. So he could see the death of his general here, but hopefully not. Snaga archers are going to be reloading. I'm assuming they're using fire arrows, which is why it's taking them so long. Yes, in fact they are. But again, the Warlords of Umbar being a very good unit with lots of defense and hit points aren't going to take a huge amount of damage from that. I'm going to try to charge into these Snaga Stalkers to kill a few of them and prevent them from marching forward with the ring quite yet. But as the Serpent Guard approach are very, very fast, Sin is going to have to pull back his general's unit, only losing 1 or 2 in the process. Serpent Guard actually going to pull away, and you can see that the catapult has also been firing at the walls, which is going to prevent me from putting any archers up here. But this is kind of where things will get long in a bit here. You can actually see that Declan Gardner hasn't even moved a single inch. So yeah, they pretty much used every trick in the book to assault this place. But you'll see that shortly here. Well, not really that shortly because of how slow they're going to take things, but don't worry, I will definitely cut that out. But yeah, it was definitely a very unfortunate loss here. These Lancers, that was very unfortunate indeed. But you can see that now that Derek has his catapult well protected, 2 halberds and some spears on all sides. He's also got some infantry here on the right flank. Serpent Guard were able to scare away the Warlords of Umbar after some time, but honestly, they could have probably gotten hit quicker because of how fast they are, and might have even been able to take out the Umbar general. But anyway, the wall now down to 60%, and this is where things will actually get slow, so I think I will go ahead and pause it for a bit here, and I will see you guys shortly. Alright, so I'm back now. This isn't really where it starts in full, but I just want to show you guys a little bit of action here. You can see some of Declan Gardner's forces have marched forward now. There are some Dor and Urnal swordsmen pushing some towers going up on the walls. And the Aberzen and Nardu Bawi were able to get some shots off on some of the men down there. You can see a number of them have fallen. And Sin of the Dark Cloud and me had planned out that he would take the defense up of this left side and the gate, and I would defend the right side, and I would have to make sure that we would be able to retreat if we needed to do so. Also, you can see that the wall has fallen in 1 point, and I have put a unit of Citadel Guard on either side, so this choke point really doesn't have to be worried about because the Citadel Guard are a very, very good defensive unit. Over here, you can see that another portion of the wall is going to fall down. This one is going to be slightly less defended, this time only by 2 units of Gondor infantry, but still they should get the job done. You can see a unit of my Gondor archers there. And you can see that Angmar is marching forward with a ram now, so the battle is going to get underway, at least in a short-ish amount of time. You can see the Warlords of Umbar once again coming out, because these Serpent Guard are not there. Oh yes, they are. They're actually right here. Trolls also coming in, so that is going to force Sin to retreat with his cav. And there goes another breach in the wall. But also something to mention is that Sin did opt to actually not defend the whole wall, which I understand that, because if he did attempt to do that, he would definitely be spread out way too thin, especially because he has to defend the gate as well. So he's instead going to allow the enemies to come in through this big kind of portion here, and then just defend from there, which I think that'll work out pretty well for him, especially because since he did go for a quality over quantity, that is definitely going to be something that he has to do. I have put 1 unit of my Gondor infantry up here to face down any troops coming off of this tower here, but like I said before, it is going to be quite some time before they come off the tower because the attackers take a very, very slow approach to things. I think I'll have to put that as the thumbnail. I think that looks pretty nice. But anyway, actually, anyway, sorry. You can see the Angmar Marauders actually thinking about going up here, so they might actually begin the fight a little bit. And I have got some Gondor archers here positioned in the gap because I want to try to fire at the enemy archers, or at least force them to fire at me, because the thing is, while they are using fire arrows, my Gondor archers are so heavily armored that they're really not going to take a huge amount of damage. And you can see only this small triangle is actually able to fire through the hole, but still. Ooh, you can see my catapult actually getting a nice hit on those Angmar halberds actually. But again, my whole plan with these archers here was just to get them to waste ammo. I also definitely wanted to protect my Athenian Rangers, who are going to be a very, very key part of the defense. Yeah, my catapult was having a lot of trouble. You can see, I don't know how it's firing when it's halfway in that building, but that's the only way it would fire is if I had it actually there. Since he's actually going to pull back with his Angmar halberds, not wanting them to get hit by the catapult. And yes, you can see the Angmar Marauders have stopped him with the ram, like I said previously. And I don't think the infantry fight has begun quite yet. You can see Sin going to pull back with some of his Castaner's Legion, and some of the Dor and Urnal swordsmen coming off the wall into the actual city now. And I'm going to actually take a break here just for a second because I should shut the window. I didn't realize how loud the birds were because of my headphones, but I will be right back. Okay, I'm back now. Hopefully you can't hear the birds quite as well. Listen to and there goes the gate. I guess this is not the same gate that was necessary to use Grand to open. Yeah, so my Gondor archers are still here firing. I decided to take some shots at the Angmar halberds because while they are somewhat okay armored, they do not have shields, so they will take losses. You can see I'm still trying to target units with my catapult. Back here now, I actually hit some of these doing the Blackguard. I'm also trying to target these elites back here because these guys are so good. And we'll see if that works out for me later. And you can see that Harad is actually slowly making his way as well. But again, they actually just put the towers up here like on the wall and then just wait. Like I saw like 20 minutes it felt like in game. Ooh! Actually took out a portion of the Witch Realm Blackguard there. Might be able to get a general snipe here. Took out about 10 of them it looks like. And I actually managed to take out one of the catapults. But that wasn't my target because I wasn't too worried about the catapult because he didn't seem to actually be firing into the citadel. I actually decided to pull back with my Gondor archers, and instead of having the Gondor archers, I will instead put a unit of the Ramsar Core garrison archers. Those guys are a little bit of less quality. Over here, though, you can see when I mentioned using every trick in the book, they are now going to be pushing forward with some archers here, being protected by like 4 units, and just try to skirmish down the pikes and infantrymen here that Son of Darkcloud does have. But again, the Naru Sentinels will be able to tank that because they have some really nice armor plus a shield value. He's got his own crossbow corsairs back here as well in case he needs to start firing with them. Excuse me. And some Angmar Marauders are coming off the walls now. But they're, again, not going to push down for a very, very long time. And while it does start off incredibly slow, I should probably say that it does get better pretty shortly here. I was actually trying to do a 2 versus 3 on Dol Amroth, but unfortunately it did crash, so we decided to do a Minas Tirith instead. But I promise that I will try to get a Dol Amroth siege out pretty soon here, because Dol Amroth is definitely a very fun map. The deployment zones are slightly odd in 2v3s and 3v4s. It might work best on like a 3v5 or something, so we'll have to see if I can do that or not. But anyway, my Athelian Rangers are unfortunately now getting targeted, but because I've got so much heavy armor here, they're not going to take too many losses. I did put them in loose formation as well. I'm going to move my Ramsar Core Garrison Archers over here to just fire at the Halberds and maybe at the Snog Archers, because I'm not all too worried about wasting ammo on Snog Archers, because the Ramsar Core Garrison Archers actually do have quite a lot of ammo, surprisingly enough. Trolls of Angmar, Marauders, yeah, still everything going very, very slow, so this might be another cut here pretty shortly. But we can take a look at what Dol Amroth is doing. You can see he's got some Dor and Urnal swordsmen here in the front. He's also moving forward with some of his Dor and Urnal archers. It would actually not be a bad idea to maybe put some of his archers, especially something like the Nimerdel Rangers, up here, like on the actual wall, and just try to target them as pike block, and just huge amount of units that Son of Darkcloud does have blocked up there. But we'll have to see if he does that or not. You can see his Nimerdel Rangers now coming onto the wall as well as some Headhound Men at Arms. He's definitely going to be keeping his elites way in the back. He's going to try to save them until the very, very end of the battle. Yeah, so nice defense here from Son of Darkcloud. However, he will be relatively vulnerable to skirmish fire, so he does need to be careful about that. Yeah, the heavy armor of Umbar doing a good job of protecting most of these units against the very low damage of these Snod Archers. Fire arrows seem to be targeting... I don't know. Ooh, another okay-ish hit, I guess, for my catapult. Again on the Angmar halberd. You can see back here the Witch Realm Blackguard and Hammerguard have now gone into loose formation. Don't want to take any more losses to my catapult. And kind of like a weird way, I guess, of me trying to get... trying to do stuff. I actually will try to target his general. I know, I'm trash, I'm sorry, but I had to do it because of how slow they were taking things. But, so I was trying to kill his general just to make them, like, I was thinking maybe if I was able to kill his general with my catapult, I would maybe make them, like, a little bit mad, so they would rush forward with a lot of their stuff into something like something they didn't want to do. You'll have to see if that works out for me, and even if I'm able to snipe the general, because in loose formation here it's going to be very difficult, especially because with fire ammo on, the catapults are quite inaccurate. However, I was able to get some lucky hits on the Angmar Marauders, and even on the catapult, actually. Over here you can see the Snaga archers are now out of ammo, so my plan has worked so far, at least with them. There was actually a nice charge here from the Serpent Guard into my Ramscore Garrison archers, but my Citadel Guard here, along with the Warlords of Umbar of Sin, were enough to take out that unit. Ramscore Garrison archers, sorry, are going to now be firing point blank into these halberds, and actually take out a number of the Snaga archers as well. So they actually are going to rack up a lot of kills. Unfortunately, it's not going to be anything too important, but it will be nice to see them with a lot of kills. Catapult still firing this time. Ooh, only going to kill one man of that whole unit of the Angmar halberds. Very unfortunate. Oh, and this is very cool. The Barrow Wights have been given a very, very nice new unit model. You can see there actually are like ghost-like figures now, which I think is a lot closer to how the books are. And I do enjoy this unit model a lot. They actually look like ghosts, and they have some really nice animations when they're moving around as well. You can see they don't really have the best weapons. They're not a great unit. They're more of like a tar pit kind of unit like the Sylvan Staff Masters. But I think they also inspire fear, so they're not bad. And you can actually bring 2 of them, I believe, before the price increase. But over here you're going to see a little bit of action going on now. Angmar Marauder is going to actually try to fight up here against my Gondor infantry. But on the wall, my Gondor infantry will probably be able to deal with these Angmar Marauders. Angmar Marauders are definitely not the best unit. Over here, though, you can see now Javelin is going to go to the gate, but Sin of the Dark Cloud did notice this and is going to pull back with his pikes, not wanting to take any losses. Ooh! Catapult going in there, though, and taking out some of the crossbow corsairs. We've got some of my archers firing up here at the backs of these Angmar Marauders, because why not? Dol amroth is slowly but surely making his way. He's actually going to be using his archers to fire at some units, but you see he's actually going to be pulling them back now. Taking some returning fire by these Evers and the Dubawi. And yes, up here on the wall, we're now going to see the first of the actual infantry fight in quite some time. Actually, I think this is the first infantry fight. My Gondor infantry with the armor upgrade, I think, will definitely be able to win this. You can see a little bit of skirmish fire from these Snaga archers, might be able to try and help them out, but not going to do too much because of the fact that my dudes are on a wall. But the Angmar Marauders actually not going off with the full unit. They only have like about 10 or so men, maybe like 20 people here, and so yeah, they're going to get butchered, as you can see is already happening by my Gondor infantry. Well, I haven't even lost a single man yet there. Oh, but there goes one. Yeah, Gondor infantry, not at all a bad unit, especially against a lot of orc units. It's nice because they have a lot of men in the unit, which means you're not going to be getting surrounded quite as easily. However, you do have to be careful because these guys will get shredded by anything like Troll, Men of Harad, or any kind of elite at all, so you have to be very careful with them. Well, not really that careful with them because they are cheap and you can bring a lot of them, but you just have to pick your fights correctly, otherwise you will lose them. The crossbow corsairs definitely being a target for the enemy archers. Looks like there are some Haradrim archers actually over here now. And I still have my Ramscore Garrison archers continuously firing at the halberds, who have taken quite a number of losses. We'll get another unit of Snaga archers all out of ammo now. We'll have Beast Hunters with their waiting. I was thinking he was going to try to get after my Citadel Guard with them, so I retreated with my Citadel Guard, but he did not decide to do that. See, the catapult is over here as well. Maybe going to try to get some nice shots off. And the second breach in the wall is going to be attacked by Harad, it looks like. We also have some towers up here, which is why I left my Fountain Guard up here, because apparently, I think someone told me that pikes, or maybe halberds, I guess, too, are very good on walls, so I did have them up there, but I will pull them off pretty shortly because Harad doesn't actually attack up on the wall. So the first wave of these Angmar Marauders has been dealt with by my Gondor infantry, and there are still just these 2 units of Marauders just sitting up here. Besides that, doesn't look like too much is really going on. You can see the Castamir's Legion going to be providing some protection with their shields and heavy armor to the Corsair pikes from the wrath of these Dor and Ernil archers. Honestly, I think it'd not be a bad idea at all for the Clan Gardener to push forward his Rangers to target that blob, because he'd get a ton of kills.
The enemy siege tower has reached our walls.
Another siege tower now on the wall. And yes, the crossbow corsairs and my Ithilien Rangers were definitely a target for them. You can see I'm actually trying to pull my Ithilien Rangers up here because I had thought if they were up on this wall, they might be able to fire directly down here into these Muhad Beast Hunters. But unfortunately, something about the angle was off because only a couple of them would actually fire. So then I decided trying to go after some different targets, like these Haradrim archers possibly, because the BP would be very good. But again, just like before, I found out that the angle was off, so they weren't able to get many kills. My catapult's still trying to go after the general of Angmar. Pelagry Marines I accidentally had left on fire at will, so a few of them are going to be wasting their ammo. But I did just notice, and I'm going to stop them from firing any longer. And yes, I'm going to be wasting even more ammo with these Ram's Core Garrison Archers. This time they're going to be using fire arrows, which will do a little bit more damage, but again, I'm perfectly fine with these Naga Archers firing at my Ram's Core Garrison Archers, because that means they're not going to be firing at things like the Crossbow Corsairs, Citadel Guard, or like my Fountain Guard. Over here, though, you can see that they're actually trying to target the catapult of mine with the fire ammo, but that's not going to do anything, because the Harad Archers don't have enough base damage, I believe, to do any actual damage to the catapult with fire arrows, so they're not going to be able to set that on fire. Unfortunately, my Thundering Rangers, when I decided to try to pull them off, they were actually kind of stuck up there, so I'll have to try to do that later. Anyway, you can see that the Angmar Marauders have pretty much pushed the full unit up here now. Maybe not actually yet, but they are pushing up more men now. But again, my Gondor infantry up here on the wall are going to be able to do a very good job of taking out these Marauders. They will take losses, definitely, but they will do, I think it will be a good trade. You can see the Angmar Marauders just getting killed very, very quickly. I've only lost 8 men of the infantry unit, whereas these Marauders have lost around 60 or so. You can see more of the Marauders pushing up now. Spearman. Oh, you can see my catapult getting a little closer to the general's unit of Angmar. And again, they're just taking such a slow approach to this. I mean, I don't blame them. It has a good chance of working, but it's just a little annoying to play as, because I think this battle overall took like 3 hours almost or something, so it's really insane. Naga Archers still firing at my Ram's Core Garrison Archers. I don't think this is the best move for them. I think they should probably save this ammo, honestly, but it's whatever. Oh!
The enemy general lies dead.
Yeah, I was able to general snipe Angmar. You can see he was one of 4 men to die in that volley. So now Darrett is just going to push them closer to the wall. Now that his generals died, he doesn't really care about putting them in loose formation, it looks like, so he's just going to put them up to the wall so my catapult can't molest them anymore. But yeah, oh, I know I'm trash, but I was getting a little annoyed on how long it was taking them to actually attack. So I was like, well, maybe if I'm able to kill his general, he'll get mad and just rush, but no, that was not the case. So it's going to be, yet again, a very slow approach to things. But again, over here you can see more of my Gondor infantry are getting cut down. This small pocket of them actually was separated from the rest of the unit. But the Gondor infantry here are doing very good. You can see the Angmar Marauders is actually down to 115, 114, so they're actually being outnumbered by my Gondor infantry, and they are wavering as well. But there are some Haradrim Spearmen pushing up also. And there go the Angmar Marauders actually going to rout. So this unit of Gondor infantry victorious against them, and didn't lose too many men in the process either. However, there are some Haradrim Spearmen now coming forward as well. Now the Spearmen have like a -3 or -4 malice against other infantry. So again, my infantry will probably win that fight, but they will take losses, definitely. See some Goblin Trackers and Scourge Raiders coming in the background now. These Naga Archers, oh yeah, thought they're out of ammo, but no. Unabad Guard actually might be wanting to get into a fight with the front line of Sin of the Dark Cloud. Nope, actually I take it back. Beast Hunters here. Gonna try to take out a few of these archers with my catapult. I actually think that was just a missed shot. I was still trying to go after the Hammer Guard now, because the Hammer Guard are definitely more deadly in melee than the Blackguard. Again, my Thin Rangers were having a little bit of troubles going off the walls. I wanted to get them off before Harad pushed over another tower and tried to attack them. And my Ramesses Core Garrison Archers are being a very good cannon fodder. You can see they're still getting shot at by a lot of the enemy archers, which has led to a lot of them being out of ammo. I don't think this unit really has that much ammo left because they've been firing for so long.
Pray something changes in the course of battle. Our cunning
Oof, yeah, you can see these Haradrim Spearmen getting cut down very, very quickly, and they are also shaken. And that's because they're a very low-tier spear unit, and because they are spearmen, they have that horrible malice against other infantry. For units like the Citadel Guard, or like the Narunar Royal Guard, the just overall stats and damage of elite spears can tend to pull things out for them against other infantry, against other sword and shield infantry, especially because the Citadel Guard are actually AP. But for a unit like the Haradrim Spearmen, they're going to take a ton of losses against my Gondor Infantry, who are actually shaken though, so they could rout and still win this fight. Oh, but over here you can see that the fight at the gate has finally begun. You can see some Blackguard and some Snoggastalkers fighting against some Halberds and Naru and Aru Royal Pikes, who are, or Naru and Aru Sentinels, sorry, who are going to reform. And the Castamir's Chosen, or Legion over here, fighting hard against some Blackguard who are shaken. Blackguard going to be no match for the Castamir's Legion, especially because they are spears. But still, it is going to be an interesting fight. Over here you can see some Halberds coming in as well in advance. These guys are going to do a better job than the Blackguard and Stalkers because they are AP, but again, they will probably lose that fight over time. Ooh, but you can see some Trolls actually coming in now. And right here you can see a bunch of the dead Blackguard, and that's because Sin of the Dark Cloud's crossbows were just shooting them down to death, kind of giving the attackers a bit of their own medicine. But yes, over here you can see the Trolls of Angmar are going to do very good in this fight because besides the Halberds, Sin of the Dark Cloud does not have a lot of AP here, and because these trolls are so much more defensive than other trolls, they will last for a very long time. Let's see what Dol Amroth is doing though. Looks like Dol Amroth has got some archers up on the wall, yes, as well as some Dor and Urnal swordsmen going down, maybe to fight against these Numenorean shield guard. But again, the archers not going to do a huge amount of damage to the pikes because of the Castamir's Legion there, giving them some shield support. But again, we'll have to see how that goes for them. But yeah, you can see now here that my poor Gondor infantry still having to fight hard, not only against the Haradrim Spearmen now, but also against some Witch Realm Scourge Raiders. And these Scourge Raiders with these Spearmen will be enough to take out this unit, but I want to hold this wall for as long as possible, so I actually have brought over some Ithilien Rangers to try to get some BP damage in there, as well as one unit of the Gondor Archers using fire ammo to try, the body piercing, and the fire arrow is going to be enough to rout those Haradrim Spearmen actually. And I'm going to have to try to take out the Witch Realm Scourge Raiders as well, because the Scourge Raiders will definitely be able to take out my Gondor infantry there, who I feel bad for because they've been fighting for so long. But over here you can see some Haradrim Archers who are out of ammo now fighting against my Citadel Guard who have like 8 attack, 28 defense, and are AP. The AP is not going to be a huge help against Harad, but the just amount of damage here will be enough to just really decimate these Haradrim Archers without taking very many losses in return. And now I've got my Remus Courtiers and Archers using fire ammo from point blank here to try to rout this unit as well. So things are finally starting to pick up a little bit. Ooh, crossbow Corsairs though in a perfect position to get shot at by these Goblin trackers. So that is very, very unfortunate. Ooh, a little bit of camera oddities there. But anyway, over here you can see that the Trolls are still at 15. They've only taken 5 losses. And right here in the center, the attackers are doing quite well. The Warlords of Umbar are actually in a fight here, and because there's not too many spears, I don't think they'll take very many losses. Unfortunately, though, the Naru and our Royal Sentinels really aren't in a very good formation, so they are going to take a lot of losses, which is very, very unfortunate. Over here, though, you can see some pikemen dead from all the arrow fire. Yeah, these pikes actually are taking a lot of losses now. The constant fire. But again, actually some Aberzen and Nardu Bawi who are out of ammo, getting attacked on either side by some Dor and Urnal swords. I assume they went up here to try to silence the Dor and Urnal archers. A second unit of Dor and Urnal archers is actually coming over here now as well. Pikes and Shield Guard actually going to just go and rush against those Dor and Urnal swordsmen because of the advance of those Numenorean Rangers. They definitely do not want to get shot down. You can actually see some of the Marauders have come off the wall now. They're going to be getting butchered by the Castamir's Legion. Ooh, of course our Pike's been 72 already. Yeah, the crossbow Corsairs here are going to do a huge amount of damage to the attackers here as well. But yeah, these poor Naru and our Royal Sentinels not in a good position at all, unfortunately for them. Scourge Raiders doing a very good job of beating down on my Gondor infantry who are very tired and shaken. However, the fire arrows are making the Scourge Raiders thinking about routing. So I actually have brought my Generals unit over here to give a little bit of morale support to all of my troops around here, as well as some Dark Clouds, except I don't think that's actually how it works. I also have my Ithilien Rangers here trying to give a little bit of support to the fight at the gate, just trying to get some kills with my body piercing, especially against all these units here. But again, because of the loss of the Gundabad General, all the fear inspiring here is going to be enough to rout a huge portion of the Gundabad forces here, so that will be enough to see off these forces at least for the time being.
The enemy are badly bloodied.
Over here, I brought forward a unit of Gondor infantry up on the wall to beat down on these Haradrim Spearmen who are just getting butchered by them. And it looks like some Haradrim Spearmen are now going to take the place of the Haradrim Archers who have been soundly beaten by my Citadel Guard. Oh, but right here, yeah, these poor crossbow Corsairs in the perfect position to be getting shot by the trackers are taking horrendous losses. Ooh, Catapult actually trying to take some shots on my Citadel Guard, it looks like. Narrowly missing there, though. Fortunately enough. And over here, it looks like Sin has regained control of the gate, but over here you can see a lot of the Haradrim forces are now up here to try to take out the left of those Abraxan and Ardubawid. And right here, the Shield Guard are completely surrounded on all sides by some Dortmund Urnal Swordsmen and some Archers. However, because of their locked morale, they're not going to rout. Naru and our Royal Guard must be out of ammo now because they're going to charge into the melee here. And they do a very good job at picking up these Dortmund Urnal Swordsmen. You can see a lot of these swordsmen just getting stabbed right in the stomach after getting knocked down. However, there's another unit of Dortmund Urnal Swordsmen here going to now outflank the flankers here. But there are some Cathamir's Legion to do the same to them. You can see a lot of the Cathamir's Legion actually die here. The Troll's finally taken out. What's left of the Serpent Guard actually going to be charging headlong into pikes. They're going to take a lot of losses there. Yes, and my Gondor infantry were actually able to fend off the Scourge Raiders for long enough for my Fire Arrows and Body Piercing to be enough to actually rout them. The Scourge Raiders now down to 69 remaining. You can see that the Castamir's Rangers now have taken the place of the Crossbow Corsairs, and as soon as the fight at the gate commences, they will do a lot of damage. Yeah, Castamir's Legion gonna butcher the swordsmen. Over here, the Shield Guard and Naru and our Royal Guard holding strong against the low tiers. But again, Dol Amroth still has a lot of good units like the Nimrodel Rangers, and he's got all 5 units of Edhelm Men-at-Arms and all of his elites, those being the 2 Black Swan Vanguard, 2 Talon Knights, and his Haven Guard. So it's going to be very difficult. But again, a lot of my infantry hasn't really fought at all yet, besides the Citadel Guard. So it's going to be very close fight, I think. As you can see, the Citadel Guard beating down the last of these Haradrim Spears. And the Haradrim Spears over here have been completely wiped away by my Gondor infantry, who took minimal losses in that fight. The Catapult, though, in a nice position. But oh, my Citadel Guard, after they were able to rout the Spearmen, were not quite in the best position to deal with these Serpent Guard who are now in the fight. And they're going to actually be able to charge straight into my Pelagrim Marines. But I'm fine with that, because the Pelagrim Marines are not by any means a very good Javelin unit, and they will be able to keep the Serpent Guard in melee long enough for my Citadel Guard to at least get in there for a few good hits. You can see my Citadel Guard now going to be attacking those Serpent Guard who are wavering. Going to charge straight into my Ramscore Garrison Archers who are now down to 53. However, I actually am going to have to reform my Spear line here with the Citadel Guard. And unfortunately, I will not be able to actually deal with the remaining Serpent Guard quite yet because of the advance of these Haradrim Archers and Spearmen. So I'm actually going to have to pull... I'm going to try to reform my line here with the Spearmen, with the Citadel Guard, and then try to deal with the Serpent Guard however I can. It's actually Sin was being very kind here, and was able to take out the Serpent Guard with his own Warlords of Umbar. Yes, my Citadel Guard once again going to have to be fighting against Haradrim Archers and Haradrim Spearmen. Going to be more than enough to deal with them. But again, they're just being weakened slowly over time. But look how good my Gondor infantry up here did. They just butchered all those units with the support of the Archers. The fight at the gate has not started once again, but you can see Sin has taken a lot of losses. Over here, it looks like a lot of the Dortmund Urnal Archers and Swordsmen have been taken out. Got Nino and Shield Guard. There's the Berserkers over there, and here comes some of the little bit stouter units of Dol Amroth. A couple units of Dol Amroth Men-at-Arms. Ooh, and the Nimrodel Ranger is going to go up on a very nice firing position up on the wall and be able to fire pretty much anything they want and do a huge amount of damage. Percentage is looking very, very even. And over here, yeah, you can see my Citadel Guard still holding very strong against the Archers and Spearmen. However, the Catapult is here. Luckily, we don't have too many units over here that would get damaged by it, but if we're not careful, we could still lose units. Especially because my Citadel Guard are, unfortunately, although they are in guard mode, they are kind of pushing forward a little bit. Ooh. I decided to fire 1 or 2 volleys at these Spearmen just to try to help out a little bit. You can see it's doing a huge amount of damage to those very lightly armored troops. Yeah, my Citadel Guard have been fighting against a lot of low tiers so far. So they're definitely racking up the kills. Ooh, but we've got Castamir's Rangers trying to target down maybe some of the Nimrodel Rangers or Berserkers over here. That is definitely a very good idea. Or Muhad Beast Hunters, rather, sorry. And that is definitely a very big target because both of these units are very, very deadly. As you can see, that is in fact what he's doing. Barrow Wights coming onto the walls, and you can see them eerily floating forward. The animation looking really nice on them. Yeah, that looks super dope. I think that's really cool. And over here, the Shield Guard and Naru Royal Guard trying to do their best at fighting some Edhelm Men at Arms and Dor and Urnil swords. Again, Dol Amroth seems to actually be taking the slowest approach to this fight. Citadel Guard now down to 68 after having fought for so long, but still holding on strong. And over here you can see that the fight has actually begun quite heavily as well. You can see I've got some Fountain Guard and my Wardens of the White Tower here fighting against the Dismounted Serpent Guard. And the Fountain Guard and the Fountain Guard and Wardens of the White Tower will be more than enough to deal with these Dismounted Serpent Guard. The Wardens of the White Tower are of course a very good elite sword and shield infantry unit, and the Fountain Guard an AP halberd, so they're going to do a huge amount of damage here. Those Snug Archers actually routing in the second unit of Dismounted Serpent Guard actually going to be fighting against my Gondor infantry. I've got my Athelian Rangers here giving some support to my infantry here who are kind of in a even fight, it looks like, but with the help of the Athelian Rangers, the Serpent Guard will definitely be defeated very quickly, because you can see that just this small edge is exposed for my Athelian Rangers, and that will be more than enough to deal a huge amount of damage to this Serpent Guard. Yeah, down here, my Wardens of the White Tower and Fountain Guard just butchering these poor Dismounted Serpent Guard who are not having a very fun time at all. And again, I just can't get over the fact on how cool these Wardens of the White Tower look. They just look so dope with the black instead of the blue. And that is actually going to be the end of those Dismounted Serpent Guard. And now that the Serpent Guard have been dealt with, Sin is going to be free to move around his Warlords outside of the Citadel. Over here, though, things are looking rather grim. You can see Sin is having to kind of pull back in a full retreat, as the advance of some Angmar Marauders and Edhelm Men at Arms are going to be enough to force him to pull back. Mohad Berserkers down to 46. And it looks like up here, a lot of these Beast Hunters were taken out. 67 remaining, but unfortunately, the Nimeriel Rangers are still very, very healthy. And you can see the elites of Dol Amroth starting to come down off the walls, it looks like. Barrow-wights coming down as well. The Shield Guard pulling back, and the Edhelm Arms pursuing in full speed. Ooh, but over here you can see a huge amount of Trollmen and Berserkers over here are fighting hard against what remains of Sin's infantry force, and this does not look good for us at all. So, unfortunately, I did not notice this quite away, but Sin does have his Casimir's Rangers over here, and if he turns them around to fire at that blob of troops, it's going to do an insane amount of damage. But currently, it looks like he's actually firing over the walls or something? Maybe at, I don't know quite. I don't actually know. I don't know quite what he's firing at. But over here, you can see the Hashard are actually going to fare the same as those Dismounted Serpent Guard, getting shot in the flanks by my Athelian Rangers here. So my Athelian Rangers definitely paying for themselves. And it looks like, yeah, these Serpent Guard were completely broken. Wardens of the White Tower down to 57, and Fountain Guard only took 3 losses. Actually, the Wardens of the White Tower took more losses than the Fountain Guard, surprisingly. But yes, the Casimir's Rangers have now turned around, and they're going to do a huge amount of damage to these forces here. You can see Casimir's Legion and Naru and Naru Sentinels trying to hold back these huge amount of forces. I have my archers here as well. I put them in guard mode. I'm just going to leave them here in melee. I've also got my veterans of Osgiliath around here as well. However, there are some Nimeriel Rangers coming over here, so that's going to be very, very bad for us indeed. So you can see we've pretty much lost the gate at the moment, and the whole left side as well. And because there are 2 units of Trollmen in here, some of the Demon is going to do a very good job in this fight, even against elites like the Casimir Legion. As you can see, my Gondor Archers now fighting hard against the Edhelm Men at Arms. Naru and our Royal Guard going to go over here to also give some support to this kind of faltering line. And my own Athelian Rangers are also going to be helping out in that fight as well, firing at the gates. We've got 2 units of Body Piercing firing at the very lightly armor for Roger. But over here, you can see that another unit of Berserkers is now fighting against my 2nd unit of Citadel Guard. And because the Mohad Berserkers are AP, they're going to do a much better job than the Haradrim Archers and Spearmen that have been fighting against the other unit. However, I do have some veterans of Osgiliath here firing straight into the flanks of the units with fire arrows. And the veterans of Osgiliath are a very good unit. They cost 1100 florins with both armor upgrades. But they inspire people around them, as well as they have like a very good damage. I think they have like 7 missile damage, which is very good since the latest patch. Casimir's Rangers now all out of ammo, going to try to give some more support to this line. My Athelian Rangers are still firing here. The Trollmen are still very healthy at 89, it looks like. And the other unit, I don't know what it's for, like 85 maybe. Ooh, but yeah, the Men of Dol Rangers back there going to be able to fire at pretty much anything they want. Got my Pelagrin Marines marching over there as well. Over here you can see a lot of Gundabad's forces that have now come back. But unfortunately, I was very sad about this. These, oh, you can see the Warlords actually doing a good job of charging around, going to go straight into those of Witch Realm Blackguard, and take out a pretty nice portion of them, but he's going to have to pull them out if he doesn't want to lose his general, especially because there are halberds coming out. But the Witch Realm Hammerguard are down to 39 because they were standing out here, and I threw like half of my ammo of Pelagrin Marines at them, but I only killed like 4, so I was very, very sad about that. Warden's White Tower marching around. I was thinking about committing them over here to the fight, but unfortunately for them, they're actually going to be getting targeted by the Men of Dol Rangers, so they are going to take a number of losses, and then we're going to have to try to retreat them before they take too many. Pelagrin Marines now out of ammo, going to be committed to this fight over here. Veterans of Osgiliath, I think my generals, I'm not going to commit them quite yet to that fight. I would rather wait. But yeah, these Haradrim doing a very good job, but again, the body piercing doing an excellent job of cutting them down as well. The Trollmen, 62 and 77. There goes the Haradrim general, because the champions of Nafarat actually... Oh, actually, I'm going to pause that for a second, because I wanted to check something really quickly. Yeah, the champions of Nafarat went over here completely unsupported, and so my Athelian Rangers were enough to pretty much wipe out that whole unit. However, the champions of Nafarat were able to do a lot of damage to this unit of Gondor infantry. As you can see, they're down to 122 now. There actually are still 14 champions of Nafarat remaining. And I think... What even is the general? I don't even see him. But anyway, we can go ahead and start this. Got my catapult waiting. We decided not to fire at the blob right here quite yet because we have more allies than there are actual enemies here. Beast Hunter's doing a good job at taking out our troops as well. You can see some of my veterans taking some pretty bad losses from them. Boromir is still alive, so that's always good, as well as my general. But yeah, you can see actually a lot of my... Yeah, I think I took like 8 losses right there, the Warden's White Tower, from those Rangers. Unfortunately though, my own Rangers are now out of ammo as well, so I'm going to have to commit them to the fight. So things are looking definitely not too good for us because we're running out of ammo very, very quickly. 64 to 58, still a very close percentage-wise. Ooh, but a second unit of Beast Hunters that have full ammo are now coming into sight, and they are actually, somehow, going to be in range of my Citadel Guard here. And they're going to do a very good job of taking them out. You can see the Scourgers have come back from routing. There are also some Goblin Archers here. Beast Hunters coming into range as well, and there's my 42 Rimscroll Garrison Archers as well. Ooh, but here's a nice push from Angmar. You can see he's putting forward a lot of his units, like some Blackguard even, some Gundabad, but Warlords of them are going to try to charge there, but decide better of it because they do not want to get sandwiched by those Gundabad Guard Spearmen. The Witch Realm Hammerguard are still very healthy over here, but I think Sin might be wanting to charge at them actually. We'll have to wait to see. Oh, no, yeah, he looks like he definitely wants to get a piece of them, which is definitely good, but it's going to be very difficult too because these guys have an insane... yeah. They have an insane cavalry bonus, because while the Witch Realm Hammerguard did take a lot of losses, the general actually did die of Sin, so it's very unfortunate. And over here, things are not looking too good for us. You can see Casimir's Rangers trying to hold back the tide of Haradrim and Trollmen. The Trollmen are down about half strength. There's not too many... There's not very much in terms of Haradrim infantry besides the Trollmen and Beast Hunters. But yeah, you can see the Beast Hunters were somehow in range of my Citadel Guard here and took out a ton of them. Took out like half of the remaining unit there. And actually I'm going to commit a lot of my remaining units here because of the fact there are some really elite units in here, like the Witch Realm Blackguard. And actually, because of the loss of the general, I may even be able to route that unit there, if I'm careful enough. And if I commit my own fear-inspiring units, of course. I've got some Gondor infantry that came down off the wall to try to give some support down here. Trollmen at 62 and 40 maybe. Yeah, I think they're not looking too good for us, especially on that flank. You can see the capital actually coming in the range now as well, or coming into this fortress. And Declan Gardner still just waiting, just biding his time. You can see he's still got 2 units of Black Swan Vanguard, 2 units of Talon Knights, 3 more units of Edhelm Men-at-Arms, as well as his Haven Guard. So he's really, really taking a slow approach to things. Ooh, you can see the just ring of enemies right there from when the Shield Guard were completely surrounded. I'm going to commit a unit of archers, I believe, that are out of ammo, or maybe some infantry actually. Yeah, some Gondor infantry that are completely healthy here. So they are going to be able to provide a little bit of support here. However, against the Trollmen, they will not do very good at all, but every little does help. You can see these Trollmen down to 55 and 24, it looks like. Yeah, we're down to half of our men. Percentage is now even, so we are no longer winning in the percentage fight, which is not a good sign for us. Citadel Guard here down to 18 fighting against the Gundabad Guard. And the cycle charges from the Warlords actually might be able to rout a lot of these remaining Gundabad forces. Yes, it was able to rout those Gundabad Guard, but the Blackguard are still in here at like 36. However, being so surrounded by my own Wardens at the White Tower as well as Found Guard and Citadel Guard, they will fall pretty shortly here. Derek still has ammo with his Goblin trackers. The catapult is getting ready to fire. We still have decided not to fire yet because we don't want it to get too much friendly fire. Oh, you can see that. Oh, the Blackguard coming down here as well, but the Rangers, the Nimrodel Rangers, were able to do so much damage. You can see my Veterans of Osgiliath actually took like 40 losses or something, maybe even 50 from the Nimrodel Rangers. My Ram's Core Garrison Archers took like 100 losses from the Rangers and from the Catapult now as well. So things are not really looking too good for us. You can see I've got all my remaining archers trying to do as much damage as possible, but unfortunately, things are not looking too good for us. See, so the Royal Guard, we were actually able to win on this flank, so I try to charge my Thorn Rangers into these javelins here. There are some Black Swan Vanguard there to protect them. The Royal Guard are also there. Now all that's left that is holding here is my one unit of Gondor infantry. And because they are so outclassed in terms of skill and numbers here, they are going to lose this fight pretty quickly. So things are really not looking too good for us. You can see the Crossbow Corsairs are also here, trying to fire into the back of the Blackguard. Or the, I think that's what they're called, the Blackguard. There's also the Blackguards, Corsair Blackguards. But yeah, the Gundabad Blackguard are actually thinking about routing. They're down to 32. So they'll guard at 33, and I think the other unit is completely taken out. My Wardens of the White Tower at 48. Oh yeah, and the Black Swan Vanguard now outflanking my Gondor infantry here. And because they're AP, going to be able to do a lot of damage. However, I was able to rout those Beast Hunters. Now the only infantry that Harad has left are these 23 Trollmen and 9 Trollmen? No, right. Yeah, 8 and 23 Trollmen. So he's got about 30 Trollmen left, and that's all he has in terms of infantry. Black Swan Vanguard gonna charge into my archers. And you can see a lot of rotting meat being flung in here. And over here, I think I lost a little micro there because my units are chasing down the Blackguard that actually routed. But I'm going to pull back with a lot of my remaining infantry because, oh yeah, I wanted to pull back with my infantry and kind of set up a defense right here. Which, looking back, was probably not the best idea. It probably would have been better to pull back all the way back here to my catapult, maybe. I've still got some good units. I've got my 2 units of infantry. I've got 2 units of Fountain Guard. You can see the Fountain Guard are actually fighting against the Black Swans, as well as my Gondor Archers are here, but a second year Black Swan Vanguard coming up here as well. The Corsair Blackguard is going to be targeting some units as well. I don't know what they're targeting quite yet. And that will be the end of my poor Ram's Core Garrison Archers who are doing so well. Gondor Infantry on a route, and now I am going to be able to actually fire into this blob of forces here. But again, the Clan Gardener doing a very excellent job of keeping his forces in reserve. He's still got his Haven Guard and 2 units of Talon Knights. So things are really not looking too good for me soon. So now you can see we're actually losing the percentage right now, which is not good at all. Nimrodel Rangers might finally be out of ammo though. Yes, they are. Barrow White's in the fight as well. Yeah, you can see I'm trying to form a, kind of like a semicircle, it looks like. I've got my infantry here. Corsair Blackguards coming in to support. I've got my Ram's Core Garrison Archers, Wardens of the White Tower, Fountain Guard, all fighting hard against the Men of Dol amroth. It was kind of funny, this battle was kind of like, instead of Umbar splitting off from Gondor in Civil War, it was like Dol amroth did. But anyway, the Citadel Guard down to 27, actually thinking about routing, surprisingly enough. Oh, my catapult taking out a few men back there, but unfortunately not the kind of hit that we really need. Corsair Blackguard's going to have a very excellent target right here in the form of the Black Swan Vanguard. Looks like that might actually be who they are firing at. I've still got 64 veterans. I've still got some infantry that was here to protect my catapult, because you can see they actually can't flank around us there. I've also still got my last unit of Fountain Guard, but again, things are really not looking too good for us here. But again, I kind of wish I had the button where you could show like the enemies and the allies, because it's kind of hard to tell who's who in this kind of fight, because Gondor and Dol look pretty similar. However, I guess most of the Dol units are blue instead of black like Gondor. But anyway, I've got some Fountain Guard in here. I've got my Wardens still. I've also got some infantry and some Citadel Guard, I think. Not too much Citadel Guard, only 17 left. Again, I've got a lot of AP here. I've got a lot of pretty decent units, actually. I think the first unit of Black Swan Vanguard has been pretty much completely taken out. The second unit was actually thinking about routing.
Our men are in command of the city.
I was able to get a okay hit on those Edhelm Men at Arms. Angmar Halberds coming in. There are also some Barrow Whites running around. The Warlords of Umbar are going to support my Gondor infantry, who are doing very poorly against the Nimrodel Rangers. The Blackguards are here as well. Yeah, you can see we're barely holding on here. The Fountain Guard trying the Fountain Guard and the Wardens of the White Tower doing their best to defend the Tower of Guard, but it looks like things might not go very well for them. Especially because of how many elites Goblin still has left. Blackguards around here as well. Ooh, that was actually a pretty good hit on the Men-at-Arms. They're actually shaking. Ooh. Barrow Whites slowly floating along.
We've lost control of the city.
You can see it's getting somewhat close to the end. Unfortunately, I am running out of catapult ammo, which is very bad because of how many elites Dolomer has left. You can see he's still got his completely healthy Haven Guard and 2 units of Talent Knights, as well as a number of Edhelm Men-at-Arms. Witch Realm Blackguard came from routing, but there's only 16 left. Ooh, that was a nice hit. That hit right there was actually able to rout the Goblin Trackers and the Black Swan Vanguard. The Edhelm Men-at-Arms are made of a little bit sterner stuff, it seems like, because they were not going to rout. Over here you can see that my Fountain Guard are actually being outflanked and being pushed through by some Edhelm Men-at-Arms and some Barrow Whites, so things are really looking grim here. We're actually going to have to pull back pretty shortly here. I think we do decide to leave this area and pull back a little bit further, closer to my catapult, I think. Unfortunately, though, my Veterans of Osgiliath are now out of ammo, but I do not want to commit them just yet because I want to keep my general alive. Boromir is still alive as well. Angmar Marauders thinking about routing already because of the loss of the general. My infantry here getting cut down. My Wardens of the White Tower at 38, Fountain Guard at 37, but while the Fountain Guard do have 17 morale, just like the Wardens, unlike the Wardens, their morale is not a lot, so they can rout actually. Of course, their Blackguards can actually charge into these Edhelm Men-at-Arms because they're not out of ammo, which is it's very unfortunate because the Blackguards would have been very good at taking out the Haven Guard and Talon Knights, but unfortunately there wasn't really much we could do about that. See the last Warlord about to get cut down there. Some Dor and Ernal Swordsmen now fighting against my infantry. My infantry will be more than enough to deal with them. My Wardens of the White Tower is still fighting strong. I think all my Citadel Guard has been taken out. My Fountain Guard regaining their morale now that things have turned a little bit for the better. Goblin Trackers already thinking about routing. The Black Swan Vanguard has returned as well. Under infantry getting flanked around, but not going to be of too much concern because the Dor and Ernal Swordsmen are not very good. Barrow Whites there, Barrow Whites here as also, and these guys are so good because they have multiple hit points. They can't do much damage, but they're really such a good target unit because they have 2 hit points and 253 men in the unit, so they're really annoying to deal with.
Something changes in the course of battle. The defeat seems almost certain.
Yeah, things are not looking too good.
Our men no longer command the city.
87 to 84, so it's been a really close fight this whole time though, so that's always good. And I was really proud of my Wardens White Tower fighting here for so long. I like them so much. Fountain Guard as well, doing an excellent job. I think we can just watch the fight here for a little bit. But yeah, not looking too good. You can see my Warden's White Tower kind of forming a line here, but then getting surrounded by the Barrow Whites. Blackguard's trying to help them out, but not really able to cut them down quickly enough. I think that's Harad. Harad has been completely defeated by now. But ooh, yeah, you can see my infantry really thinning out here, and I'm getting pushed just straight back now by the Edhelm Men-at-Arms. So this, I believe, might be where we decide to kind of pull back with what we have left. You can see the 2 units of Crossbow Corsairs trying to do whatever damage they can. My Catapult still also doing the same. My Veterans of Osgiliath, unfortunately, doing a little bit of odd things because they're pathfinding, but they will come back. Don't worry about that. And I've still got my second unit of Fountain Guard here, going to reform the line. Unfortunately, because the Fountain Guard don't have Spear Wall anymore, they're not going to do quite as good as they had before, but they still will do insanely good. I mean, you can see that this unit's just been destroying everything around here, but They are still only at 27 left. Gondor infantry thinking about routing. You can see Sim's going to pull back with his Blackguards. I'm going to leave my infantry here long enough for me to try to get one more catapult. I think I only have like a little bit of ammo remaining. Actually, I'm going to try to pull back with my 23 wardens or something. I think I originally had 26. And when I pulled them back, I think I only had 14, so I didn't lose half the unit there, but it is better than leaving them there to their fate. That catapult going to try to get off one more shot. You can see the dude's going to try to pull it back. Maybe get a good hit. We'll have to see. And my warden's pulling back now. They decided to pull them back because they would be able to provide a lot of morale support. And they look cool, so. Ooh. Ah, dang. I actually routed my units there. That's very unfortunate because I really have not been able to get too many good hits. I was able to get a few and I was able to gen snipe, but besides that, my capital really hasn't done a ton of damage. Oh, but actually still has enough ammo for one more hit. I saw that his Talon Knights were out here, and because they're like in an X kind of formation, I was thinking I might be able to take out like a good portion of them if I hit like right in the middle of it. So I actually do decide to try to target them. But look at the bloodshed. Oh, so many dead. Yeah, so we have them beaten back there now. My Fountain Guard, 26 men left, but they actually might rout. Oh, my one's White Tower were one to get back in the fight, but don't worry. Ooh, a good hit on the door and Emerald Swordsman. I take it back. I must have had quite a bit of ammo remaining because I know I tried to target the Talon Knight, but I haven't yet, so not sure. Yep, they are getting ready for one more volley. Unfortunately, all three of them weren't firing. There's only ever one. Blackguard's going to be able to hold back the door and Emerald Swordsman for long enough for my cavalry to fire once more. Ah, yes, and I was able to get an okay hit. Unfortunately, it was not right in the center, but I was able to take out like two in that unit and like 10 in this unit. 13 actually, sorry. But yeah, the Talon Knights are going to be committed now to the fight, now that we don't have very many men remaining. Percentage is definitely going back in their favor, but not by too much. It's within 4%. And now my catapult is all out of ammo, unfortunately. So it's going to be up to the Fountain Guard, the Blackguards, my Veterans of Osgiliath, the Crossbow Corsairs, and my 14 Wardens of the White Tower. As well as my catapult crew. I think I can go ahead and speed up as the Barrow-wights float forward. Yeah, I definitely want to do a good versus evil Dol Amroth siege. I think if I... Ooh. Yeah, see, this is the bad thing about... Even though they're in guard mode, because they don't have pike wall or spear wall anymore, they kind of do rush forward. Unfortunately, you can see this right after rushing forward, which is very bad. They're not going to be getting flanked by the Barrow-wights. But again, very close battle. But yeah, I want to do a good versus evil siege of Dol Amroth. I think it'd be nice to have like Gondor and Dol Amroth fighting against like Umbar and Warlords. We'll have to see how that turns out though. Talon Knights coming from both sides. But again, Talon Knights being more defensively minded will take actually a lot of losses to my Fountain Guard and anything else that we have here. I think I'll probably leave it at 2 times now because it's basically just a kind of a last stand. But again, it's close because you can see the Crossbow Corsairs here are going to be able to fire into the flanks of the Talon Knights. I'm going to go ahead and commit my Wardens to the White Tower. Barrow-wights actually exhausted from having to fight for so long, and over here my Fountain Guard were routed, I believe. But they did definitely do their job. We got a lot of kills. Yes, I actually decided to commit my Veterans of Osgiliath over here to help out my Fountain Guard against the Talon Knights. And you can see the Talon Knights taking a lot of losses, surprisingly enough. But yeah, one of the reasons why I like the Veterans of Osgiliath so much is because they're so survivable with their shield bonus and their good armor, especially if you give them both armor upgrades. You can see the Haven Guard actually about to be committed as well. And they have the highest damage of any Gondor archer unit, that being 7, which really helps them out as well. They also can inspire units around them. And they have Boromir, which is cool. I like Faramir better than Boromir, honestly. I like them both better in the books than in the movies. I think they kind of did a poor job of portraying them in the movies. Especially Faramir. But unfortunately, Faramir is the officer for the Wardens of Mace Ithil, which is a unit I don't really use. I don't think they're really all that worth it, honestly. I think I don't have very many Wardens left. Yeah, 14 actually still. Boromir still standing strong there. But yeah, also the Veterans of Osgiliath are very good in melee. Talon Knights down to 50, and 36. So yeah, taking a lot of losses. But ooh, you can see it's a really close fight because This is all that's left of our infantry, and all these blue, all this blue right here, and also the black of the Barrow Wights is all that they have left. So really, really been a close fight. Still got a few Gondor archers using fire arrows, trying to rout as many men as possible. But again, you can see we're slowly but surely being beaten back. My, where are they? Veterans of Osgiliath in particular are going to be no match really for the Haven Guard who have been committed. Haven Guard are just going to butcher my poor, anything I have here, like the veterans. Ooh, yeah. My veterans are falling very, very quickly, unfortunately. If I'd maybe saved my second unit of Found Guard here, we might have been able to do okay, because you can see the Found Guard doing insanely good against the Talon Knights, as well as the Haven Guard. But yeah, my Veterans of Osgiliath already down to 24. Really no match for the Talon Knights or Haven Guard, so looks like my Found Guard will pretty shortly here be getting surrounded. But we can see that Boromir, one of the last 20 alive, being in the back line. Crossbow Corsairs out of ammo going to be committed to the fight. So they actually fight with harpoons. It's kind of cool. 6 Swan Guard and 19 Men-at-Arms back there. But yeah, the Found Guard, really, really good unit. I definitely think without the Found Guard being so good, Gondor would be like rarely played at all. As it is, I don't really see them being played that often. Yeah, you can see they're doing a very good job. Witch Realm Blackguard down to 9, Talon Knights at 38, and 51. 51 for the Haven Guard is very good, actually. And 33 for that unit. 37, yeah, so we were able to take about half of the Talon Knights, looks like, and like 10 or so of the Haven Guard. But yeah, it's like Boromir. Ooh, there's only 2 men left in the Veterans of Osgiliath, and one of is Boromir and one is my general, I know that. Trying to pull him out here. You can see the general coming off the line. Yeah, you can see the Found Guard slowly but surely getting wrapped around, and they're going to be getting cut down, but I'm gonna fight for a very long time. Oh, and there goes the general of mine, getting cut down by the Men-at-Arms. Let's see if Boromir is able to avenge my general, though. And watch the last stand of Boromir. This is the man that killed the general. They're both bloodied up. Looks like the Men-at-Arms is more so. Yeah, Boromir getting in some good hits there on that Man-at-Arms. Doing his best to avenge his lord. And yeah, that dude's tanking some hits, jeez. Because Boromir is just landing hit after hit. Oh, there he goes. Good job, Boromir. Boromir was able to kill someone before he dies. That's good.
We've lost control of the city.
Found Guard still at 56, but now, ooh, yeah, Haven Guard actually well nigh 20 losses. Talon Knights at 30, and where's the other unit? 30 and 33. Yeah. So we were able to kill about a full unit of the Talon Knights.
Our army is tiring.
But again, it looks like this is going to be the end. We don't have enough. If we maybe if my catapult was still working, I might have been able to like land a hit here, but it was out of ammo. You can see there's still a ton of the Barrow Wights left as well. So put up to 6 times now. Found Guard actually might rout, getting pushed back into those buildings for their last stand. There is no escape here, and this is going to end in a victory for the evil forces with the amroth. Yeah, it was a very close fight. I enjoyed this one a lot. I thought it was fun.
We've lost control of the city.
Despite the fact that it was so slow, despite the fact that it had such a slow beat. Yeah, you can see it's within 3%, so ooh, a very close battle. Found Guard keep going back and forth between wavering and shaking. 4% now.
Our men have taken control
and
of the
there
city.
they go. They did rout because of all the fear-inspiring units here, and I did go ahead and admit defeat because I think the only unit I had left was like these random archers. But anyway, it was a very good battle. You can see I deployed 2,300, got 3,600 kills. Sin of the Dark Cloud getting 2,800. The most kills for the attackers went to Declan Gardner, but that's kind of unsurprising because he definitely saved his units till the end. We can take a quick look at the exact kills, but yeah, it was very close. It was within like 4%. Now obviously it's not going to be very close because of the healed casualties, but before the healed casualties it was like within like 4%. But anyway, Veterans of Osgiliath only getting 100 kills. I was pretty disappointed by that, honestly, but again, they did have to fight against a lot of elites. Athelian Rangers doing very good, one unit of Gondor Archers doing horrible, but the other doing okay. Peligre Marines, though, looking back, I don't think I would have brought them. It probably would have been better to bring something like the Guards of Osgiliath, and me and Sin were actually talking about it after the battle, that if if Sin had maybe brought something instead of the Lancers, like maybe another Jav unit, or maybe kept his Naru and Aru Sentinels till the end, we probably could have pulled that out. Because I mean, you can see my Fountain Guard, 186 kills. I think this was the unit that had to fight all the elites. But the other unit getting 324, Citadel Guard getting 410 and 219. The 410 was against all the low tiers like these archers and spearmen, but still. Wardens of the White Tower doing very good, only 63 men in the unit getting 195 kills. Infantry all did very good because they were fighting against mostly low tiers except for this unit. Yeah, this one actually got 318, 328. And Ramus Korgar and Argers actually getting 328 kills. That was kind of cool. And my Catapult getting 281. But again, I thought it was a very cool battle. So if you guys did enjoy, please comment, like, and subscribe because that will be the end of this video. So farewell wherever you fare till your eye is receiving at your journey's end.